Hey everybody, it's Alex and Spencer again with another episode of Deck Collection 101 on Arbeit U. So
we have a big episode today. Yeah. This is the most guests we've ever had on one of these episodes.
Yeah, it's like a little party over here.
Yes.
Well, with the phone. But
yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about a pretty interesting topic actually that's been in the news a lot recently, and with all the natural disasters and tragedies going on around the country, we wanted to talk about how a call center or collection agency handles that situation.
Yeah. What are the impacts on that? Because we've gotten a couple people who have run into issues with that.
Yep. So
without further ado, we're joined today by phone by the folks from Contact Relief. And on the line we have Justin Martinez, Michael Mancuso, and Mike Chandler. I got that right, guys?
That's right.
All right, perfect.
Good morning.
Didn't screw it up. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So I guess before we get into some of the questions, can we get a little introduction? Who you guys are.
Yeah, what's Contact Relief? What do you guys do? Quick rundown.
Sure. This is Mike Chandler. Contact Relief is a software as a service running in the cloud that helps contact centers shape the customer experience in the wake of disasters. So it allows the contact centers to know which customers are affected by disaster, when the disaster is anticipated to start or has started, when it's over, when the recovery period has occurred, and when they can either suspend calling in advance of the disaster and resume calling or other contact when the disaster is over.
Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is obviously this is like a great time it's a good time to talk about this.
Unfortunately, it's a good time to talk about it.
But there's a lot of things going on recently that everyone's aware of, I'm sure, in the news with this type of thing. But before all that even happened, it's interesting that, because I ran into Justin at the ACA event, and it's interesting that happened at that time, because when we got back from the ACA, I've had numerous clients ask us about some type of service like this. Mm-hmm. So it was just interesting that it happened at that time. But so what's that process like, I guess, before, with your experience in the industry, how was it handled in the past? How should it be handled when this type of thing happens, when a disaster strikes an area, when a tragedy strikes an area?
Well, in the past, contact centers were not as aware of the customer situation as they are now. There's been a major drive toward improving the customer experience and concern about the customer experience. And so over the last 4 or 5 years, you've seen the whole industry shift toward focusing on the customer experience. So in the past, when things happened, contact centers generally kept calling. Now, of course, contact centers have to pay much more attention to the customer experience, and they have to understand what the customer's going through at that particular time, and to know when it's appropriate to call and when it's appropriate to suspend contact, allow the customer to prepare for that particular event, to focus on the safety of their family and themselves, and then to recover after the event to a point where they're able to be responsive to what the contact center is trying to communicate with them.
Okay, so obviously this plays a huge role in multiple areas for the contact center. I mean, there's like their brand as a whole is affected, I'm sure. And I'm sure the revenue's probably affected by this type of product. So what area, I guess, why don't you tell us? I mean, you guys know better.
Hopefully.
So what are the areas that, this really affects an agency or helps an agency?
Well, there's 3 central points. The first is that it helps you protect your brand image. And as everyone knows from incidents like the United Airlines incidents where a passenger got abused, how important your brand image is, and how much your any kind of impact to your brand image can affect your revenues, your stock price, and your ability to recruit clients to your cause. So that is a very important issue and becoming ever more so every day. And Contact Relief helps you in that regard, in that it helps you stay away from situations that are inappropriate for you to make contact with the consumer. So, for example, there were cases where there was civil unrest. There were incidents where there were political rallies going on, and an individual ran a car into some of the demonstrators. And that immediately creates a nationwide story over that event. And then that area is grieving at that point. They're worried about their security and safety. And in that environment, you don't want to be making contact into those areas with consumers and becoming part of the story. You don't want to be, you as a company don't want to be a part of that story.
Right.
And so we help you understand when those things are happening and how to avoid them.
Right. Yeah. The last thing you want as a news story is, ABC collection agency harasses John Smith,
victim of
in midst of Hurricane Harvey floods or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be terrible.
That would not make for good PR. Because I think the other component of this, obviously, like there's a lot of financial sense to it, but it's also just like a nice thing to do, right? Like the last thing someone wants to be dealing with in a disaster area is getting a call from someone either trying to collect on the debt or sell them a product or something.
I feel like it indirectly affects the revenue to an extent, because the likelihood of somebody paying you at that point. So not only is it affecting the brand, but the likelihood of somebody paying in the midst of a tragedy is, I don't know if you guys have stats on that, but I would imagine it's slim to none.
Yeah.
Yes. Take Hurricane Irma, for example. We had a Category 5 hurricane bearing down on the Florida peninsula. We recommended suspending contact to a major part of Florida over 3 days before the storm arrived, because at that point, people were already in the move. They were already having to prepare for that Category 5 and what became a historic storm. They had to prepare for that. They had to start planning their evacuation from the southernmost parts of Florida. And as time progressed, the whole state got into motion. And those people are not at home. They're not. And if they are at home, they're not receptive to the call that you're trying to make, even if the call you're trying to make is a positive call. And especially if the call is a difficult call to make with the consumer, they're especially not in a receptive mood to that. And so you're really wasting your time and your resources by calling into those areas. You can take that same resource and move it to another part of the country which is not experiencing that kind of disaster, and yet be much more effective and have a higher contact rate and close rate on those kind of calls.
Yeah, and I think
go ahead.
This is Justin. Oh yeah, this is Justin. I wanted to touch base on one other thing here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of disaster data that can assist business with making proactive decisions. So one of our rules that we have in place is that in a hurricane such as Category 5 that struck Florida, we have a 72-hour rule that we have in place that we're going to recommend a contact suspension. So when we provide the data files to our clients can choose to use, for example, proximity services in a mobile app that will push a message to their customers and employees, right? So there's large creditors are going to have a lot of facilities in the state of Florida. Contact centers are going to have centers in Florida, so you can push messages to your customers in a proactive way, saying, "Hey, you're in this zone. Heads up. We're thinking about you. Take every precaution possible, etc." So again, that's another. I think something that contact centers and creditors should really think about, since they have the technology today to do such a thing.
Yeah, and I think another great thing is obviously like something like Hurricane Irma or Harvey. Everyone's aware of that because it's on the news. But there's tons of incidents that happen that people that don't make the news that would still affect their business.
Yeah. So this
Exactly. There's a good example is a river flood where the people being flooded are, essentially along the riverbank. And it may only be, 500 people, 1,000 people may be affected by this. Another example is wildfires. Now, of course, in the last few days, we've seen what wildfires can do in California, for example, where we have, 20 to 30 people that have died, hundreds that are missing, and thousands of structures burned in 12 or so different fire outbreaks in that highly volatile region at this particular time with dry weather and heavy winds. And so what contact relief allows you to do is to not only respond to the large events like Hurricane Harveys and Irmas, but also the smaller events, because it's so efficient at managing those. It's so easy to take action and protect those consumers in the same way you protect the ones in these larger events.
Yeah, so it's definitely something for their own sake that people need to be aware of.
Right. So I have one more question here before we cut this off. But so one more question is, to me, like being a former small agency owner, something like this would be intimidating, I think, to get set up on as a small agency owner, because it sounds like this is something for like the big, huge, 500-man call centers, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case after talking with Justin and you guys previously. So I guess, how is a small agency supposed to use this system, and how is it, beneficial for them just as much as it is to like a huge agency?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's incredibly simple, because as a software as a service, there's no software to install. It's all in the cloud. So all you have to do is sign up for a subscription, which gets you access to a web-based command center portal that allows you to see graphically on a map all the events that are happening across the country. And overlaid on top of those events are the recommendations that Contact Relief is for action for you to take, the recommended action for you to take. So that action could be, as Justin said, to proactively message the consumer. It could be to suspend calling to the region, or resume calling in the region. And you can proactively message the consumer before the event or after the event to offer hardship programs. And you can do that through not just calling, but emails, text messages, or in-app notifications if you have an app that the consumer uses. So with just signing up for the subscription, turning it on, you instantly have recommendations that are flowing down to you, and essentially what comes down to your call center is a list of regions that you should block. It's as simple as a list of zip codes that are coming down every time you accept one of our recommendations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there any, we're going to end it on that, I guess. Is there any last bits you guys think you want to get across to anyone? Any tips for this general concept right now?
Other than using Arbeit Click. Shameless plug.
I just believe now's the time to act. It's clear, this has been a difficult season with all the hurricanes, but these things happen across the year. In 2016, there was billions of dollars of damage, as a result of disaster events. And we forget about them, as we go into the next year. But now's the time to act. Now's the time to make sure that your contact center is concerned about the consumer experience, and to take action to deepen your relationship with the consumer by doing the right thing, by showing compassion, but also by helping yourself, by protecting your brand, by reducing the risk of adverse actions or complaints, and by improving your contact efficiency by calling into the right location.
Yeah.
Right. So there's enough negative press for the contacts in the debt collection industry, so don't add to it.
Yeah.
This is pretty much.
This is a perfect example of how you can.
So
how you could avoid that.
Yeah. But anyways, thanks everybody so much for watching. Thanks for joining us, Justin, Michael, and Mike. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll be back next week.
Yep. Next week, same time, Thursday.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Thank you so much for the invite.
See ya.